Now select cardboard box and start development. Just be aware that development has finished. You can have the support unit supply you with weapons and items you've developed. Think of it as your own personal delivery service. That won't work on me. I've had drug resistance. And there it is. Not sure what it's good for, but Miller said you know what to do. Try it out. One last thing. The staff members you extracted were all placed on the R&D team, but that was Miller's decision. If you think they belong somewhere else, you're free to move them around. Well, that about does it. You won't make any GMP or find recruits hanging around here. Board the chopper when you're ready for a mission. Open your iDroid and select a landing zone to tell it where to pick you up. Or if you're still in the mood for knocking guys on their asses, you can stay around here a while. Give the men some practice. Just come pay me a visit.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is B-Quad. On station at LZ.
Thanks for that, folks.
Gaining altitude.
The site ops list is comprised of problems we need you to resolve. Objectives to be completed, and information gained from the soldiers and prisoners you've extracted. These aren't missions per se, but if you can take care of them when you're free, I'd appreciate it.
hospitalized in Dikelia, a British sovereign base area on Cyprus. It's part of British overseas territory that falls outside of Cypriot jurisdiction. You got moved from Cuba's Little America right into Cyprus's Little Britain.
Why Dikelia?
The UK and the US remain close allies. The last place Cypher would think to look for you is inside their own system. That's what kept you safe in British military hospital for 9 years. The safest place from a whale is inside its own belly. You were a regular Geppetto.
Well, it wasn't Pinocchio who led me out to safety. So who was that guy?
Cypher went so far as to attack British territory, burning their own ally. That's how badly they wanted you dead.
He said I was in a British military hospital. But the doctor had a Greek accent.
They hire locally. Easier to trust them. Dikelia is also home to Greek Cypriots, after all.
What about the Turks? They haven't returned to the south.
Not yet. The Cyprus dispute is still a long way from resolved. The country is just as split as it was in '74. Turkish Cypriots in the north, Greek Cypriots in the south. Between them, the Green Line, the UN established.
And Dikelia sits right on top of it.
It does. Part of the buffer zone between the two groups. Another reason it was the perfect place to hide you. Easy to spot any outsiders snooping around.
So how do things stand?
Now, last year, the Turks declared that the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus is an independent state, though it's only Turkey that recognizes it. In the past, the Greeks and Turks lived side by side in the same villages. There are reasons to fight. Those came from the outside. Greece, Turkey, Britain, America, they all have their own stake in pitting the two sides against each other. But once you spark something like this, it's impossible to control. Both sides build up grudges like debt, without the foresight to see that each act of revenge just fans the flames. And then it's too late for other nations to rush in with peace talks. The embers keep on smoldering. Each nation's arrogance only breeds anarchy. The world is paralyzed by this hunger for revenge. Cyprus is no different. You're up.
We're changing ships?
We can't go sailing the Suez in a whaler.
The Suez Canal. When did they reopen it?
Not long after you were attacked. Once they finished sweeping it for mines after the Arab-Israeli conflict. Can you stand? We're going to transfer to a container ship for passage through the Suez. Our destination is Pakistan, Afghanistan's neighbor to the south. There we disembark and head via Peshawar to the Zero Line, the border. We'll travel to the Khyber Pass by road.
And then?
We continue on horseback. Afghanistan's main roads are under Soviet control. We'll need to go around them. It'll be all narrow, winding paths through the mountains. We'll do better on horseback. It's a local guerrilla tactic. They use the higher ridges to avoid air recons. Then they charge down the mountains for ambushes. The Soviets still haven't devised a counter-strategy. Our time frame is only half as much as we really need. It's gonna be a tough march.
Better horses than boats.
Well, it'll make for good physiotherapy. Take the time to get used to that new arm.
While the Soviets have indicated they are not participating in the Los Angeles Olympics, primarily because the United States has made no attempt to guarantee the safety of the Soviet Union's athletes, the United States is increasingly demonstrating the belief that the issue has nothing to do with its preparations, and in fact this is retaliation for the Western nations' boycott of the previous Moscow Olympics. That concludes today's news.
That's quite some news.
The Soviet Union not attending the LA Olympics? Yeah. Andropov's death has changed some things. They're calling it revenge for the Western boycott of the Moscow Olympics.
Countries boycotted the Moscow Olympics?
Yes. In protest of the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. Over 50 countries were absent. It's too bad I didn't get to see Yamashita's judo. When the 40th Army crossed the Amu River 4 years ago, détente went right out the window. The U.S. Congress chose not to ratify SALT II, and Reagan's hardline politics won him the presidency in a landslide. According to him, the Soviet Union's an evil empire.
A second Cold War.
And there's been no end to regional conflicts and civil wars. Lebanon, the Falklands, Grenada, Iran, Iraq. The story never changes. Egypt and Israel did sign a peace treaty. But then the driving force on the Egyptian side, President Sadat, was assassinated afterward. Apparently, his actions were considered a betrayal of his fellow Arabs.
Islamic extremists?
Yes, fundamentalist extremists have been responsible for some bold acts of terrorism in recent years. We've had extremist students in Iran take U.S. embassy workers hostage, and suicide bombings in Lebanon. Over 300 foreign soldiers stationed there have been killed. The countries have yet to develop an effective means of dealing with terrorism. Afraid of losing their own men, they've pulled their forces out, handing private forces a golden opportunity.
Private forces?
Small armies with no national affiliation, working for the highest bidder. That's right, they got the idea from you. After Mother Base went down, they began spreading to meet the soaring demand. Miller's organization is just one of many PFs now. The entire world is after you. But at the same time, it needs you too. Miller told me about what happened.
Farming villages in southern Vahan have been subjected to a strategic bombing campaign the past several weeks. The damage is spreading. It's part of the Soviet Scorched Earth operation aimed at wiping out the guerrillas. The target this time is the commander of a Spetsnaz detachment. He's been key to the operation's success. People say this guy's responsible for annihilating the Mujahideen at Tismasi Laman, the Hamid fighters, overnight. He's a tough, experienced commander. Don't underestimate him. The order from my client in the west is to shoot on sight. They want him out of the picture for good. Sorry, boss. This one's purely business. Wet work. A hit on a commanding officer of the Soviet military. Nothing personal. We're only doing this because it gets us one step closer to our goal.
Target is a Spetsnaz detachment commander. Your orders are to take him out. With skills like his, it'd be a shame to waste him. then I'll leave the method up to you. Boss, make your way to Dishago Calais and eliminate the target. Crescent. It's a type of medicinal plant. We can use that to make tranquilizer rounds more potent.
Where are your friends?
He speaks Russian. What we need is an interpreter. The main principle of intelligence work is intel gathering. But that's a problem if you don't speak the enemy's language. We need a staff member with the interpreter skill to do a simultaneous interpretation. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. Arrived at the objective. Your target should be somewhere in that outpost. And don't forget, he has a Spetsnaz recon detail with him. Keep your guard up.
Прием. Это КП, понял. Оставайтесь на чеку. Конец связи.
Смотри! Эй! Ты в порядке?
Всем боевым группам, это КП. Вышел из строя целый ряд ламп. Похоже на проблемы с электроэнергией. Ближайший патруль. Проверите их питание. КП, это Зоя 10. Расследую. Конец связи.
За мной!
Понял. Ищите подозрительные. Конец связи. Это Зоя 10. Поиски ни к чему не привели. Прием. Это КП. Понял. Вернитесь на пост. Прием.
Что там?
Скорее всего, противник. Я не... 239. Что случилось? Ответьте, 239. Проблема. Тревога по всем постам.
He's coming too. Roger that.
КП, это Зоя 10. Только что слышал шум. Прошу осмотреть сектор. Прием. Это КП, понял. В данный момент тебе некого подстраховать. Действуй один. С особой осторожностью. Конец связи.
You gotta extract him.
КП, здесь Дмитрий 3. Одного из наших внесло на воздушный шарик. Кажется, он образует. Не заняться его поисками. Прием. Это КП, понял. Всем боевым группам проверить.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Конец связи. КП, это Зоя 10. Поиски ни к чему не привели. Прием. Это КП. Понял. Вернитесь на пост. Прием.
Your objective's complete. Exfiltrate out of the hot zone by chopper or on land. Don't hang around.
Внимание всем постам. Противники где-то прячутся. Найти их. Конец связи. КП, это Зоя 2. Мы осмотрели сектор, ничего не нашли. Отзываем поиск. Прием. Это КП, понял. Не расслабляйтесь. Они еще могут быть рядом. Конец связи.
The enemy's given up their search for you. But they're not giving the all-clear just yet. Stay alert.
КП, это Зоя 2. Мы осмотрели сектор, ничего не нашли.
All right, you're out of the hot zone. No enemy forces in pursuit. Mission complete.
Конец связи.
Mission complete. Great work. Our army is growing like crazy thanks to you, boss. In fact, it's getting downright crowded around here. To bring a greater number of people on board, we'll need to expand our facilities. To that end, I've created a base development unit. It has two roles, material refinement and platform construction. I'll start with the material refinement part. The base development unit procures material resources on a regular basis according to its level. The materials are stored in containers and placed on the deck of Mother Base. Once they're finished being processed, they can finally be put to use. By using these materials to build new platforms, we'll be able to add a greater number of staff to our ranks. We don't need any specific instructions from you to refine the materials, but I want you to be the one to decide how we construct platforms. Once we have sufficient GMP and the required material resources, you can issue construction orders from your iDroid. Boss, we've received a back-channel request from Langley. We're to find a piece of new American military hardware that's gone missing in the mountains of Afghanistan. It's a difficult mission, but I'd say you're back in top form by now. Check your iDroid for the details. That wild dog pup. He's a tough little guy. Boss, this is no time to be playing with animals. What are you gonna do, boss? Roger that. We'll pick him up. We found out there's an English-speaking soldier somewhere in the region. He's a language specialist. His role is to translate information related to the West into Russian. If we can get him to join us, we'll have the upper hand in information warfare. Find this language specialist and extract him.
Часто вижу, у тебя свет допоздна.
That's the target.
Да, я всегда читаю газеты и журналы с той стороны. Я даже думаю по-английски.
Правда? Тебе где-нибудь в клёвом выражении. Но в случае, если я вдруг встречу американца.
Хорошо, повторяй за мной.
I spent
Last
last night with
girlfriend.
your girl.
Black carrot. It's something of an ancestor to the domestic carrot. It's also a favorite of wild animals. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. Boss, that language specialist you extracted has been very cooperative. Says he's always dreamed of living a free life, like folks in the West. What are the odds, huh? I've gone ahead and placed him in the support unit. His job is Russian interpretation. Now you'll know what Soviet soldiers are saying. You can even interrogate them. Should give you an edge in the mission. Yeah.
Whoa, whoa!
Boss, you need to disable the Soviets' reinforcement system by putting a hole in their base-to-base comms network. Head for the Eastern Communications Post and destroy its comms equipment. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility. Soon. Your surroundings will be easier to see, but that goes for the enemy as well. The guard detail in Soviet outpost changes in the morning too. Watch yourself.
Whoa, whoa! Yeah.
Binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility. antenna is one of the targets. There should be more. Keep looking. That's another one of the targets. Do you see any more?
Ядерные ракеты.
А почему он не боится?
Он сказал, что нельзя будет сбить ракету, которую не видно на радаре.
Ракета, которую не видно на радаре. Это возможно?
Смотри на меня. Он сказал, что на родине срабатывает это. Мне больше 20 лет.
Что? Ты что, хочешь нанести удар?
Конечно же нет. Ты на родине, ядерный удар.
Это было бы ужасно.
Да, это была бы тотальная ядерная война. Даже если бы выжил, говорят, нам бы не хватило припасов.
А тут нас как часто кормят?
remaining antennas. Destroyed their anti-air radar? It wasn't one of the targets, and that's put a hole in their air surveillance. The chopper will be able to get in close now. You can designate a landing zone near the outpost. the support unit. Nice. That's the second one. That wasn't the last of them, though. Keep going.
Нужно прикрытие! Не отступать! Прошу поддержку! Открыть огонь!
Approaching position. This is Pequod. I have arrived at marker.
That is one of the targets. Take it out, and the mission's complete.
Target acquired. In hot. In hot. Watch out, boss. Pequod is in hot. Find cover. In hot. Watch out, boss. This is Pequod. No targets remaining. Ending attack run and we'll stand by at LZ. This is Pequod. Have arrived at LZ. We'll stand by.
Completed your objective. Now get out of the hot zone.
Gaining altitude. Departing.
Mission complete, boss. Prolonged time in the field is bad for the body and mind. I think it's time you took a break. Do it for me. Come back to Mother Base ASAP.
Mix?
Here's the dog you brought back. Bit of a troublemaker. Not sure about the breed, though.
He'll get bigger?
Uh-huh. Like this. You know, I can look after him. He's still a pup, so he doesn't listen. I have a feeling someday he'll be useful. I suspect you've discovered a real diamond in the rough. With a little polish, I'd say we got a true diamond dog on our hands.
DD, right? Hostile at raising hounds. Fine.
Come on, Dee Dee.
Welcome back, boss. Thank you for letting me join the ranks, boss. I won't let you down. Boss, will you trade with me? Thanks for that, boss. Boss. Boss, thanks for saving that puppy.
Boss, we're ready to develop new equipment. Just give the order. Good to see you, boss.
Morning, boss. Boss,